Oh boy, how do we start this video? I guess we can say, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Welcome back to the Batman podcast. I guess I can say that I was partially wrong and partially right, okay? I did a video previously about an upcoming December 14th attack. I predicted there is going to be an upcoming December 14th attack previously, before the date of the attack, okay? You can check out that video. I'll provide it in the comment section later, okay? But anyway, I was predicting something bad is going to happen on December 14th. I thought it was going to happen in America. I thought something bad is going to happen to Donald Trump. But turns out that is not true. But I was right. Something bad did happen, and it happened in Australia instead, okay? The name of the place is called Bondi Beach, and it was an event that was celebrating the Jewish Hanukkah. Okay, so to start with, just to give some info on from my previous video, I was predicting that there was going to be an event because there was an account on Twitter, or currently known as X. There was this account. The name of the account is called Mushi, or Tally Hall Album, in which he was saying in that X account that on September 3rd, this person was saying that wouldn't it be funny if in 1 week Charlie Kirk got shot or was killed, something like that. Okay. And he said within 1 week on September 10th. And sure enough, on September 10th, something bad did happen. Charlie Kirk was shot, he was assassinated, and so on, so on. Okay. But and then after the incident, after the Charlie Kirk incident, the same person, he posted on X saying, "Did I?" Right after Charlie Kirk was shot. What does it mean by did I? So that is already suspicious. And then 3 days later, he posted on X. He said, December 14th, Donald Trump. Okay. So at that time, I thought something bad is going to happen to Donald Trump, or there is going to be a terrorist event in America. Okay. So I was wrong on that. But there is a terrorist attack on December 14th, but it is in Australia instead. Okay. But I think what he actually means by Donald Trump December 14th is, like, come into perspective, seeing what's going on right now. Donald Trump has just announced that there will be a retaliatory attack on ISIS in Syria. On ISIS, okay? And then I will provide you guys the screenshot of this Mushi person, okay? And then what do we call? And then there was recently couple of US soldiers was unalive in Syria due to attack from ISIS. And as a result, Donald Trump has just announced that they are going to retaliate against ISIS. Okay. Now, why do I feel like this is going to blow up, and it's going to, I think it's going to cause a war. Okay. So a huge regional war, not just war against ISIS, but a regional war. Okay. So let's go back to the Bondi Beach event. Okay. In Australia. So there is this event. It was a Jewish Hanukkah event held at Bondi Beach. Okay. And during that event, there were mass shooting. There was this person. What was his name? 1 second, I have to check back. This person named Navid Akram. He shot, if I'm not mistaken, 15 people. Okay, 15 people died and several other people injured. Okay, most of them are Jewish, and they were saying that this guy has ISIS connection. Okay, this guy has ISIS connection because they later on found ISIS flag in his car. Okay, and then I also just recently uncovered an article. Okay, an article in which, hold on, let me, okay, this article from the telegraph.co.uk, the Telegraph, which is quite a reputable media company. Okay, I'm going to provide you guys the screenshot. Okay, so the article is saying suspicions falls on Iran for Bondi beach terror. Israeli intelligence identifies Tehran as prime suspect in Sydney Honeycomb massacre. The Sydney terror attack may have been carried out by an Iranian-backed foreign terror cell, Israeli authorities believe. Now, I don't have access to the full article because you have to pay for it. And, if I have to pay for every single news outlet article, then I'll go bankrupt. But anyway, see, they already planted the story that, oh, ISIS has something to do with Iran, this guy has something to do with Iran, with ISIS and Iran, and blah, blah, blah. And I predicted from my previous video that there is going to be a war, it's going to blow up, okay? Regional war and war with Iran. And now they're already planting the story. And also, just recently I found a video in which a reporter from Israel was saying that Mossad will get involved in this. They will assist Australian authorities to do investigation. Like, why on earth do Australia needs Mossad help to assist on this investigation? I mean, like, it sounds like an open and shut case, if it's really that straightforward, okay? This guy who is supposedly, he is a Muslim, not supposedly, he is a Muslim, okay? He is a terrorist and he is committing terrorist attack. Why do you need Mossad to get involved with this, okay? Sounds like an open and shut case, okay? It's unheard of. I mean, like, have you heard? Maybe I'm just being ignorant, I'm not aware of it, but have you heard of a terrorist attack held in, I don't know, France or UK or the US previously, in which all of a sudden Mossad gets involved? I mean, like, so early in the investigation to begin with. Maybe after a week they found out, oh, this guy has something to do with ISIS. Maybe Israeli has some connection to it. Maybe they have more information than we know. Okay, fine, you know. But it hasn't even been 24 hours. In fact, it was just a few hours after the incident, and then all of a sudden Mossad was already volunteering to assist with the investigation. Are you kidding me? Okay. And okay, maybe stuff like this happens all the time. Maybe there are international collaboration and so on. Okay, maybe I could just be wrong. Okay, but why do I feel like this is a false flag operations? Because it is. Okay, I'm going to provide you guys a screenshot of this guy. Okay, hold on 1 second. This guy. 1 second. Okay, so this guy previously he survived October 7th, and now he survived Bondi Beach. Like, are you kidding me? What are the odds of that happening? I mean, like, it doesn't even make sense. And then for this specific Bondi Beach attack, this is the guy. He was supposedly shot during this event, okay, or at least he was injured, attacked in some ways, okay. We don't know the details yet, but he was supposedly attacked, and then like after he got attacked and he has a bloody face, he took a selfie of himself. I mean, like, that's not normal. Normal people don't react like that. I mean, like, Imagine if I just got shot and the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know what, I need to take a selfie of myself. Are you kidding me? The first thing that probably comes to my mind if I had just got attacked is probably call the police, ambulance, I don't know. Probably looking at other people surrounding you, asking for help. But the first thing you did is to take selfie of yourself, and you were also previously attacked during October 7th. Are you kidding me? Two attacks in a row. You survived them. Also, one of the most damning evidence I have that uh, which really convinced me that this is a false flag operation is because, surprise, surprise, the name of the shooter, I always forgot his name, Navid Akram, you know, the moment it happened, the moment I see it on Twitter, I was like, what are the odds of his name being searched on Google Trends, on Google, okay, a couple of days before it happened. So I go to Google Trends, okay. I go to Google Trends and I type his name, and surprise, surprise, his name appeared in Israel Google search on December 8th, a couple of days prior to the event. I mean, like, I'm unaware of this, never been to Israel, I don't know their names and so on, what is the typical Jewish name in Israel and so on, but I am, as of right now, I believe this sounds like a Muslim name, Muslim Indian name. So, okay, Navid Akram, it doesn't sound like a Jewish name. Maybe I'm ignorant about this, okay? So, how come out of nowhere, okay, out of nowhere, suddenly people in Israel type, you know what, today I am going to type Navid Akram name on my Google search. Are you kidding me? Doesn't make sense, okay. A lot of the stuff that is happening on this case doesn't make any sense, and I also did search for over 30 countries. None of them have any spike prior to the incident, only Israel, okay. It's right now, it has become like somewhat of a norm for Israel. Every time there is a terrorist attack, is the terrorist attacker name always spike in Israel a couple of days before the event. Case in point, Tyler Robinson and also Ramanullah Lakanwa. You know the what was the date of the attack? I forgot, but the attack in Washington D.C. where it kills two soldier, U.S. soldier, Ramanullah Lakanwa. His name also spiked in Israel couple of days or weeks before the incident. So why is it that all of these terrorist attackers' name always appears in Israel? You know, if it happened one time, maybe you can say, oh, it's a glitch, Google Trends glitch, okay? But if you see a pattern where it happens over and over again, it's starting to sound like it's probably a false flag operations, okay? Especially when a lot of these incidents always have somewhat of a Jewish connections to it. And also, Trump has just announced that they are going to war with ISIS. I don't know if it's going to war or just a retaliatory attack. We don't know yet, okay, at this point. But I don't think this is a good thing. There is going to be a war, okay? And I'm urging everybody, don't buy into it, okay? To all the US soldiers, if the government tells you you have to go to war with Iran, don't go, okay? I mean, like, I don't care. I don't care what your excuse is, even if you have to go to jail because you quit from the military. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but there is a law where, as an army, you cannot quit anytime you want, especially during wartime. I mean, like, if you do that, you can go to jail and blah blah blah. Okay. I mean, like, if it's me, okay, I'd rather go to jail than killing people willy nilly, especially for a lie to begin with. Remember the uh, WMDs, weapons of mass destructions in Iraq? Where are they? Until today, you still can't find it, okay? Afghanistan. You know, before the US invasion, the Taliban, they already eradicated poppy growing in Afghanistan to almost 0%, okay? After the US takeover, what happened? Poppy fields flourish again. So, what do you think is the reason for the invasion? And right after the invasion, what happened to America? The opioid crisis started grow out of control. It started right after the Afghanistan invasion. There were satellite images of US military bases located next to a poppy field, okay? So, if the government is urging you to go to war again in the name of protecting America, this is 2025, okay? This is not 1990 or 2001, 2003. When was the time you go to war with Iraq? I think it was 2003, right? This isn't 2003, okay? This is 2025. Everybody already knows that the government lies all the time. And I'm not saying this is specific to America only. It goes everywhere in the world, okay? I've said it multiple times on my channel, okay? I feel like the world is a stage, okay? Putin is not enemies with Trump or enemies with Netanyahu, I don't know, whoever, or Zelensky and whatever. It's all an act, and you're all buying into it, okay? They're going to war with Iran, okay? And also, I find it weird how so many medias are being allowed to talk to criticize Israel ever since October 7th. Well, like for decades, as this is especially true in mainstream media, okay? I'm talking about CNN, CNBC, Fox, and so on, okay? They were not allowed to criticize Israel. If you criticize Israel as a reporter, if you criticize Israel, you're gonna lose your job, okay? They're gonna come after you, they're gonna make you bankrupt, in fact, okay? But why is it this time around many of the mainstream media they allow their reporters to criticize Israel? And that's just the mainstream media. We're not even talking about the podcasters and so on, okay? And they're not being blocked by YouTube. Whereas 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if you talk something bad against the Jews or Israel, especially the Jews, you know your channel is not going to survive the day of light. It is just a fact, okay? But why after October 7th, like many of the podcasters, they were allowed to speak against Israel? If you guys have been following my channel for a while, I feel like this is intentional. I feel like what is going on right now is they purposely want to eliminate Israel in the Middle East. Okay. I have been saying there is going to be a war and Israel will not survive because we have seen that American military is not as advanced as they claim to be. I mean, like they can't even beat the Afghan military, even though they are said to be very what we call primitive. They have primitive military technology. And we're talking about the whole Muslim world has become more unified than it has ever before. Turkey, Erdogan recently had just had a meeting with what is the supreme leader of Iran right now? I always forgot his name. 1 second. Turkey Erdogan meeting. Yeah, he meets Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakchi. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. But this is not the first meeting. It has been several meeting already. Okay, previously there was an Iranian, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey meeting. Okay, and it was said that the meeting was about the Palestinian crisis. Okay, so there is going to be a war. Okay, and I don't think the U.S. military will be able to beat Turkish Iranian military. Okay, Turkish plus Iranian military, because Israel has become a rogue country. Everybody hates them. Okay, they're causing problems. I mean, like the humanitarian crisis in Gaza are pushing countries like Jordan. Half of their population are Palestinians already. They have a full house. I mean, like people are getting fed up with Israel, and right now they just took over Golan Heights. I mean, like these countries has realized, you know what? At some point, they're going to keep expanding and expanding and expanding. Greater Israel, okay? At some point, they're going to take Turkish land too, Iraqian lands too, Saudi Arabia land too. They are starting to realize this, okay? And while Greater Israel does not include Iranian land, I'm sure Iran wouldn't want a country like Israel to be taking large swathes of lands in the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, but that scenario that I mentioned is if we are to presume that the world is not a stage. Okay, but under the presumption that the world is a stage, which is my inclination towards, is I just feel like they're gonna fake pretend like they have a war, and the US is going to let the Muslim countries to annihilate Israel. And you know why? Why the US will let that happen? Because there is a movement right now to take over Ukrainian land. And it has something to do with Israel. The Heavenly Jerusalem program. Watch the video, it's online, okay? Watch the name of the person who did this interview. Igor Berkut. Igorberkut, okay? He said there is a plan to relocate Israelis to Ukraine, because Israel is such a barren land, there's no, the geography sucks basically, okay? But Ukraine is such a fertile land, okay? Russia had wanted back then, I mean, like this was, I forgot what is the timeline, but I believe it's between 1930s or 40s, or maybe 1920s. I forgot the timeline, but Russia had a plan previously to create a Jewish land in Eastern Russia, and the place is in Crimea and the area surrounding it. So, if people were saying that Putin is the hero, okay, no, he's not. Putin is not the hero. Trump is not the hero. The West is not the hero. Russia is not the hero. Okay, the world is a stage. Okay, and I feel like if Israelis ever took control of Ukraine, it will be game over for all of us. Okay, so while I still have the time to speak against it, I am going to continually do it. I'm going to do a video about it. Probably I will do multiple video about it. I am going to go all out to spread it to as many people as possible. I don't care if it's just one person who's watching it. I mean, like I don't have a lot of views to begin with. Okay, so I don't care, but I feel like I'm going to do whatever it is in my capacity to spread the truth. Okay, So my next video is going to cover about this. Okay, so if you like this type of content, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, kindly like my video, and also please leave a comment. Okay, until we meet again, bye bye.